In this example, we're given an equation here, and it looks like our variable is going to be y. So we're going to start by solving this equation and finding the value for y. But then we're not done. We're going to go ahead and plug that into this expression, y, right there, and see what we get for this expression when we evaluate it. If you'd like to try this problem first, go ahead and pause the video and do so, and then come on back and we'll work it together. Okay, so looking at this equation on the left over here. So I'm trying to isolate this y value. So it looks like right now I'm multiplying it by this negative 3/8, and I have this 1/2, it's a positive 1/2, so we could say it's being added to this negative 3/8 y. So the inverse operation for addition is subtraction. So let's go ahead and subtract 1/2 from both sides. So right there, those 1/2s will cancel. And is this something we can do in our head? 3/4 minus 1/2. So that's just going to be 1/4. And that's going to equal negative 3/8 y. If you want to see that with common denominators, this 3/4, so it'll be 3/4 minus 1/2, which is 2/4, and that'll be that 1/4 right here that I wrote down there. Okay, so what are we going to do now to finish isolating this y value? Well, it's being multiplied by negative 3/8, so it seems like I need to divide both sides of the equation by negative 3/8. But remember, division by a fraction is really just multiplication by its reciprocal. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides of this equation by negative 8/3. And so what I'm using here is the multiplication property of equality. So I multiplied the same value on both sides and everything stayed nice and equal. So the negatives cancel and the 3's cancel and the 8's cancel. So that's nice, and I have just that y all by itself over there on the right side. Okay, well, how about this left side? Well, it looks like between the 8 and the 4, I can reduce by dividing both of those by 4. So I'll be left with a 2 and a 1 respectively. So when I multiply negative 2/3 times, well, 1 over 1, or just 1, I'll have negative 2/3. Which, at this point, you could use the symmetric property of equality and flip those around and say y equals negative 2/3. If you are one of those students who likes to see the variable on the left side, and that's not a problem at all. Okay, so we see that the value for y is negative 2/3. But again, we're not done. We need to take that value for y, and we're going to go ahead and plug it in to this expression and evaluate that expression. So we have 1 minus 3 times that value, which is negative 2/3. Okay, well, first of all, what we see, these 3's will cancel, because this is really 3 over 1. So a 3 up here and a 3 down here will cancel. So I have 1 minus a negative 2. But when you're subtracting a negative, and they're right next to each other, you can just do a little swoosh, swoosh, and say 1 plus 2, and that's going to be 3. So solving this equation yielded a value for y that was negative 2/3. So we went ahead and plugged that negative 2/3 in for y, and we evaluated this expression, and we got 3. So that's how we can work through this example, which is a pretty classic SAT or ACT type problem, where you're not just solving an equation, you're going to get the value for the variable and then do something with it.